Hallelujah, Christ is risen.
The Lord is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
Like it. Dead people don't rise out of the tomb, do they? They just rise. I mean, if that's what we think Easter is all about, just rising out of the tomb, then we should just look at the pretty flowers, and they are beautiful, and then go on. But there's more. So what does John mean by resurrection when he is speaking of Jesus' resurrection, when Jesus is risen? Is it just that Jesus comes back to life as the same person? And what does John want it to mean for us? I mean, I would make the argument that Jesus died, the human, and resurrected, divine. And I think John wants this story of Easter to mean much more than the reanimation or the revivification, I can't say that word, of a dead body or a corpse. Now, we've all heard stories, some based on clinical evidence, of people who were clinically dead and then returned to life, and heard of their experiences. And I don't know if I believe those stories or not, but that really isn't the question. The question is, as I see it, one of the questions, is there transformation involved in being dead and brought back to life? John shares with us the story of the women entering the tomb and finding nothing but empty linen. Jesus is already gone. There were no eyewitnesses to how the resurrection process occurred, the process of coming back to life. But it did take some time, even for Jesus. As Jesus said, 3 days. And yes, it did. Not 72 hours, but over the course of 3 days. But one thing we know for sure in all the questions, that we know for sure in this process, you can't have resurrection without death. And today we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, His victory over death, and His promise that we will have that same victory over death. And you know what? Today we are being called to our own resurrection, our own transformation from death into life. But you might be saying to yourself, I'm not dead yet. But for those who are baptized and those who are about to be baptized, the promise in baptism is to die to the old you, the old me, and begin the new you, the new me. In order to share the promise of Christ, we must be resurrected into a new creation. Sounds wonderful. But what holds us back from being this new creation? Well, a number of things. But most of it, what holds us back is that we always seem to want just one more. One more pay grade, and everything will be happy. One more electronic device, and it will all be good. One more night of feeding an addiction, and then I'll give it up, I promise. One more night of cheating on your partner, and And then I'll stop. I promise this is the last time I'm going to do it. One more lie. One more lie to make everything better, and then I'll stop. Then it will all be fixed. One more time to withhold my promises to God, and then I'll catch up. I promise, just one more. These one mores move our own resurrection down the road. Into that, I know many of you are getting tired of hearing me say that, into that walking dead scenario. Walking through life, but not living. Resurrection is not just for Jesus. The promise was for us too, but we must die to our old selves. At some point in our life, we must be willing to die to self and allow ourselves to be resurrected and transformed into our new self, ready to live life and live it abundantly. Live it abundantly through relationship with God and with neighbor. Dying to self and being resurrected is a process. It didn't happen for Jesus overnight. So don't expect it to happen in our lives overnight either. Because it is a process. But we have to want it to happen. We have to want to be transformed. May this day of Jesus' resurrection be our day of our own resurrection. To be transformed into that new creation God is calling us.